So it's time for me finally to start putting in the floor, the subfloor in our box truck camper conversion. Well, hey everybody, I'm Bill with Live Simple, Live Free, working on this truck, this conversion. I've now pretty much got everything done on the outside. I still need to put the solar panels, but so now that means I can start working on the inside. I already framed the little bed that goes up above the cab, but now I'm going to actually be able to start framing and putting down the subflooring on the floor. This is actually going to be much easier. Being a box truck, going to be much easier than, say, a regular van like a Transit or a Sprinter or an Econoline, because all of those vans have ridges that run this way in the floor. The floor is not flat, but as you can see, this floor is completely flat. I'm going to be using vinyl locked together tile. I could almost just put it right on here, except for two things. One is that there's this access panel over the wheel well that's a little bit higher, so the tile wouldn't go over that. And the other is that I really want to get some insulation down underneath of the floor. So I'm going to be furring it out with 2x2s, putting some insulation in there, running some wires under there, and then putting the 5/8 inch OSB on top for the flooring. So first I'm just going to mark out on the floor where the 2x2 floor joists go. Now I've got these cut and laid out where I want them to go. I'm going to sweep the floor first. Now I've seen a lot of people, I've watched a lot of van build videos on YouTube, and I've seen a lot of people screw these things down to the floor, but that really concerns me. I just don't like the idea of poking all those holes through the floor and having the screws hanging out in the weather. It just seems to me you're asking for problems with rust and things like that in the future. Now most of those are, you know, regular vans that have a steel floor, and that would make me nervous even more than this one does, because this is aluminum. But I still just don't like the idea. So I'm going to glue it down. I just think it's much better for the floor in the long run. So I'm going to be using this same thing I used last time, this Gorilla heavy duty, I don't know if you can see that, Gorilla heavy duty construction adhesive. The reason I'm using that is because this specifically, it lists all the different things that you can glue with it, and this one specifically says metal. Most of the others, like liquid nail and all those other ones, they list a whole bunch of stuff but not metal. This one lists wood and metal, so that's why I'm using this one here. I expect I'm going to hear a lot of comments about, where are your knee pads? I don't know. I can't find them, so I'll just go without it. I'm just putting these here because I want to put some weight on this to hold the boards down a little bit, to make sure that the glue bonds correctly. think I need a little more weight. I'm going to maybe go get a couple of toolboxes and things to set on here. You can see some of the glue squeezing out from underneath there. And I'm only gluing half for now. I'm doing the front half. After that's dry, tomorrow I'll come back and do the back half. I just want to make sure that it's really down flat and tight, and I don't have, it would just be more difficult to put wood on the whole thing. So a couple more toolboxes on there to hold that down, and then I'll come back tomorrow and finish the rest of it. So the front half is finished and dry. Now it's time for me to glue the back half. Everything's already been pre-cut. So now I got this back section finished, almost. I have one here that I had to throw out because it was so twisted it wouldn't lay flat. 2x2s are hard to keep straight. They want to twist up a lot. So I'm going to have to get another 2x4 to glue in there before I can continue. But I'll come back to this tomorrow, and all of this should be hard and dry. I had to pull off of this job because I was waiting on some wire that was ordered that needs to run down underneath to come up on the other side, and I couldn't put the rest of the flooring down till I get that wire. So in the meantime, I pulled off of this and I went and did the complete solar panels that you probably already saw that video. So now I've got the wires that I need, so now I can get back to this. The next step is to put down sound deadening, Kilmat. I want to make it quieter back here, so I'll be using Kilmat. Now I've talked about this before. This is not a acoustic deadening. Here's the way this works. As you drive down the road noise you hear is not actually like, you can hear some tire noise, but most of it is because as you're driving, the metal sets up these little micro vibrations like this. And those micro vibrations create a roar. And when you put this on there, it stabilizes the metal, stops the vibration, which stops the roar. And apparently this stuff is pretty effective. It's just self-adhesive. You just stick it on, and then you have to roll it out with a roller to make sure that it's completely stuck down tight. Because of the way it works, you don't have to cover every square inch. You only have to cover about 75% of it for it to be able to stop that roar. So I'll be putting it on the floor. Eventually I'll be putting it on the ceiling because that's thin aluminum and that probably vibrates a lot. I will not be putting it on the walls because there's a fiberglass encased 3/4 inch plywood, which isn't going to vibrate like the metal does. So I'll just be putting this down on the floor. So I'm finished with the Kilmat on the floor, and though I'm not officially working on the ceiling yet, while I'm in the Kilmat operation, I might as well go ahead and install the rest of what I've got up here on the ceiling as well. I don't know if I have enough to do the whole thing. I have one box left. That way at least I can put up what I've got and see how much more I still need. Now, some of you who know about Kilmat may tell me that I'm doing it wrong with the 75% thing. There seems to be some confusion here. I'm not sure what to do, because when I bought it, I was looking on the website at the installation instructions, and it specifically said that you only have to cover 75%. But then after I finished the floor here, I just happened to pick up the little paper that came in the box, the installation instructions, and in there it says to cover 100% of the area that you want to deaden. So I don't know what to think. I have two different instructions from the company, but at this point I've got 75% done. I can't really change that now, so it is what it is. So now I've got the Kilmat down on the floor, and I used all the rest of it I had on the ceiling, and I ran out like I knew I would right there, so I haven't done anything over the bunk there. So I'm going to have to get one more box of Kilmat, which is unfortunate because I'm only going to use about half of it to fill in that space there. So the next thing to do is put in the insulation, the Havelock wool, which I have right here. I also have to run some wires underneath. The electrical system, the batteries and all that are going to be over here, and the kitchen is going to be over there. So I want to run the wires for the kitchen underneath of the floor so that I don't have to try to snake it all the way through the walls all the way around. So I'm going to lay those wires down before I put the subflooring down. So I'm running the 110 circuits, and this is just like in a house. I'm using 12 gauge for the heavy duty circuits, like the hot water heater and the receptacles by the kitchen where I plug in something that heats up. And that'd be a 20 amp circuit. And then I use a 15 amp circuit with 14 gauge wire for the other receptacles where I would plug in computer and stuff like that. I want to make sure I leave plenty over here. This will be underneath of the dinette seat where all the batteries and all that kind of stuff will be. I want to leave plenty here to make sure that it can reach where it needs to go without splicing or something. And I don't want the wire just laying on the bare metal. All the vibration of the road, the rubbing wouldn't be good. So I'm putting it here on top of the insulation to protect it from the metal and the road vibration. Yeah, so I tried using some electrical tape to hold this up just to make sure that I had it long enough. It was just going to be a temporary thing. No, electrical tape didn't work at all, so I got some staples to hold it up there. Like I said, that's temporary just to make sure the wire is long enough. So now I've got all these wires run down underneath the floor. There's a lot more here than I originally expected. Of course, I had to make an electrical plan of where I wanted all the receptacles and all those different kinds of things so I would know what I need to run. I won't go through all of this, but this powers everything on the other side. The water pump, the water heater, the kitchen receptacles, the kitchen 12 volt USB receptacles, the sensors for the gray tank, the fresh tank, a bunch of stuff like that. So in an effort to eliminate squeaks going down the road, I'm going to glue and screw this subfloor down. Now I've got all the OSB cut, laying in place, ready to glue and screw. I've already got this one down, but I've been working on my electrical plan and discovered that I need to run one more wire from there across underneath. Unfortunately, I don't have it. The roll that I bought wasn't anywhere near big enough, so I'm going to have to order another roll of the 18 gauge wire for 12 volt. So I'm going to have to pull off of this job for a while, and I decided that if I'm going to do that, I might as well also order another box of Kilmat so that I can lift this up and finish, instead of 75%, go up to covering completely 100% of the floor. Of course, I won't be able to do that for this one panel, but I can do that for the rest of the floor. So in the meantime, I've got a lot of other jobs that I can do, so I'll work on those instead. Okay, so now almost 2 weeks have gone by. I got the wire and I got the Kilmat, and in the meantime I did several other projects. I finished the installation of the solar panels on the roof, which I believe you've seen that video. I also did the gray tank underneath right down here. I don't know if you've seen that video yet or not. I'm not sure what order I'm going to be releasing them all. But anyway, I didn't waste my time. I had several other projects to be done. Now I've got the Kilmat and the wire, so I can finish up this job. And this is kind of tedious, cutting these strips on both sides. Unfortunately, I put this in the middle of the bay. If I'd put it on one side, then I would have had just one strip to do. Now I got two. But if I ever want to soundproof it against road noise, this is the time. So let me go ahead and get this finished. So now I've got the floor completely covered 100% with the Kilmat. So I can start laying down the Havelock wool insulation. So I got the floor done now, except for that piece right there. That's just laying in place. It's not screwed down yet because I still need to put in the shower unit right there, and I need to have access underneath of there to run the plumbing. So I won't be fastening that down until I get the plumbing done, hooked into the gray tank, which is underneath. Well, so there's the subfloor. Now I plan to be putting interlocking tile, vinyl tile on top, or composite tile actually on top of that, but that won't be until much later. Well, dear, I now have the Kilmat sound deadening in there, and I have the insulation in there, and this is the first time we've driven since I got all that done. So what do you think of the sound levels in the truck now?
I definitely feel like it's quieter. It's easier for us to talk to each other. It doesn't seem rattly. I know, I definitely think it's quieter. I'm pretty impressed. I'm trying to keep you in the picture. I'm pretty impressed with how well it's working.
Yeah, in the past, especially on longer trips, if we tried to talk, I could only talk for 10 or 15 minutes and then my voice would give out because I had to speak loud.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, I still have to raise my voice a little. It is a truck after all.
Right.
But I think it's considerably better.
Yes.
And I think also make a recording like this in the truck is considerably better than it was before as well.
Yeah, I think so too. We'll have to listen to what we're recording right now, but I really think it is.
Yep.
And we're going along at a pretty good clip, so
Yep.
Excellent.
So anyway, I'm just very happy with how it turned out.
Yep.
So,
Yep. There we go.
Thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching.
Live simple.
Live free. You be blessed.
Yep, love you guys, and we will of course see you very soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.